David Lama was born on August 4, 1990, in Innsbruck, Austria, a city nestled in the heart of the Tyrolean Alps. His heritage was a blend of cultures that seemed almost destined for the mountains. His mother, Claudia, was a local Austrian children's nurse, while his father, Rinzi Lama, was a mountain guide and trekking leader originally from Nepal. This cross-cultural background gave David a unique perspective, an Austrian precision paired with a deep, almost spiritual connection to high peaks shaped by Himalayan roots. From a very young age, David was drawn to the vertical world. At just 5 years old, during a climbing camp organized by the legendary Himalayan mountaineer Peter Habeler, famous for his first ascent of Everest without supplemental oxygen alongside Reinhold Messner, the boy caught the attention of the veteran climber. Habeler watched the small child scramble up routes with natural ease and immediately contacted David's parents, declaring that their son possessed an unusual talent. Little David had no interest in hiking courses or alpine club activities. He wanted to go vertical from the get-go, as described on his own website. By age 6, David was already training seriously in the mountains surrounding Innsbruck. He mastered his first 5.13b, 8a in French grading, climb at the age of 10, an extraordinary feat for a child. His parents supported his passion without pushing him excessively, fostering an environment where climbing was both play and pursuit. Rinzi's stories of Nepalese peaks and Claudia's grounded nurturing helped balance the intensity. For American readers familiar with child prodigies in sports like gymnastics or tennis, David's story echoes that of a young phenom whose raw talent was spotted early and cultivated in the rugged, accessible training grounds of the European Alps. As a teenager, David entered the competitive climbing scene with remarkable success. He competed in the Climbing World Cup Series across lead climbing and bouldering disciplines, becoming a multiple junior world champion. By his late teens, he had won nearly everything there was to win in the sport climbing arena. Sponsors like the North Face took notice, and David seemed poised for a glittering career in competition climbing. Yet something deeper called to him. The artificial walls and timed routes of gyms and crags felt limiting compared to the unpredictable, committing nature of true alpinism. He made a pivotal decision to step away from the competition circuit, seeking greater challenges in the world's wildest ranges. This shift marked the beginning of his transformation from a rock climbing prodigy into one of the most promising alpinists of his generation. David Lama's competitive career was nothing short of dominant. As a young teenager, he excelled in international events, showcasing not just physical strength and technical skill, but also mental composure under pressure. His victories brought him recognition across Europe and beyond, but he grew restless. The mountains offered something competition could not: genuine exploration, risk, and the chance to push the boundaries of what was possible in the high peaks. In the early 2010s, David began focusing on big wall and alpine projects. One of his early notable achievements was in Patagonia, a region notorious for its ferocious weather and iconic granite spires. In 2012, at just 21 or 22 years old, he teamed up with Peter Ortner to attempt the infamous Compressor Route on Cerro Torre, one of the most debated and difficult climbs in the world. The route, originally established with controversial bolts by Cesare Maestri, had long symbolized the tension between traditional alpinism and modern tactics. After years of effort, including a previous failed attempt, David and Peter achieved the first free ascent of the Compressor Route in 2012. They climbed the entire southeast ridge without using the old bolts for aid, relying purely on their skills and a rope. This was a monumental accomplishment in Patagonian mountaineering, widely regarded as one of the hardest free climbs on the mountain. It garnered international attention, including documentaries and media coverage that introduced David to audiences far beyond climbing circles. For Americans, it was akin to a groundbreaking free ascent in Yosemite, challenging established norms and redefining ethical standards in big wall climbing. That same year, the duo continued their momentum with first ascents and summits in Pakistan's Karakoram Range. They climbed Trango Tower via the Eternal Flame Route and achieved the first summit of Kagalisa, 7,668 meters, in nearly 30 years. These expeditions highlighted David's growing versatility. He was not only a technical rock climber but also capable in high-altitude, mixed terrain. His style emphasized lightweight, fast ascents with a strong ethical code, minimal fixed gear, and a respect for the mountain's natural challenges. David's approach resonated with a new generation of climbers. He published a book about his adventures and starred in films, becoming a role model. His Nepalese-Austrian heritage added depth. He often spoke of feeling a pull toward the Himalayas. Success came with reflection. As he noted in interviews, true success wasn't just summiting but living up to personal expectations and pushing his limits responsibly. As David entered his mid-20s, his ambitions expanded to some of the most remote and demanding peaks on Earth. He continued partnering with strong climbers while also embracing solo challenges that tested his self-reliance. One standout project was in Alaska's Moose's Tooth, where he made the first ascent of the Bird of Prey route, a difficult, poorly protected line that showcased his boldness and route-finding genius. His partnership with climbers like Conrad Anker brought him to Nepal. In 2016 to 2017, they attempted Lunag Ri, 6,907 meters, a remote Himalayan peak. Bad weather and conditions forced a retreat close to the summit, but David returned in 2018 for a solo expedition. In a remarkable display of skill and mental fortitude, he completed the first ascent of Lunag Ri alone, navigating technical terrain, high altitude, and extreme isolation. This feat earned widespread acclaim and was ranked among the top expeditions of the year. Posthumously, in 2019, he received a Palme d'Or, the Oscar of mountaineering, for this achievement. David's climbs spanned continents, from the European Alps to Patagonia, Alaska, Pakistan, and the Himalayas. He was sponsored by major brands and used his platform to share the beauty and fragility of these environments. Films and interviews portrayed him as thoughtful and humble, a free spirit who balanced ambition with respect for the mountains and his partners. For U.S. audiences, his story parallels American icons like Alex Honnold or Tommy Caldwell. Technical brilliance combined with a drive for clean, inspiring ascents. Beyond climbing, David was known for his warmth and friendships within the tight-knit international climbing community. Photographers and filmmakers like Corey Rich captured his journeys, from Pakistan to Patagonia. He maintained a website and social presence that allowed fans to follow his philosophy. Climbing as a way of life, not just sport. His mixed heritage fostered a bridge between Western alpinism and Himalayan traditions, adding cultural richness to his legacy. In April 2019, David, then 28, joined two other elite alpinists, Tyrolean Hansjörg Auer and American Jess Roskelley, for an expedition to Howse Peak in Banff National Park, Alberta, Canada. The trio aimed to climb a difficult new variation on the east face, targeting the steep, mixed terrain of routes like M16 in the Waputnik Range of the Canadian Rockies. This area is known for its committing walls, avalanche hazards, and unpredictable conditions, challenges that attracted the world's best. On April 16th, the climbers started early in cold but clear weather. They used a combination of skiing and climbing, navigating steep slopes and icefalls. Detailed reconstructions, including from Jess Roskelley's father John, a renowned mountaineer, and evidence from recovered gear and photos, show they made significant progress. They climbed a WI-6 waterfall pitch, traversed snowbands, and reached the summit area, achieving their goal on the formidable peak. As they began their descent into a large snow basin around early afternoon, disaster struck. A massive cornice, a overhanging snow formation, broke off high above their position, triggering a powerful avalanche. The slide swept the southeast face with tremendous force. Evidence from a photograph taken by another climber on the Icefields Parkway, along with timestamps from phones and equipment, indicates the avalanche hit at approximately 1:58 p.m. The three were likely roped minimally or unroped during the descent phase, making them vulnerable. The avalanche carried them approximately 800 vertical meters down the face, over an icefall known as Life by the Drop, depositing their bodies on an old avalanche cone below. They were probably killed instantly by the impact. Subsequent slides during the stormy night buried them further. Search efforts located the bodies on April 21st. The tragedy shocked the global climbing community, claiming three of the most talented alpinists of their era in a single event. David Lama's death at 28, alongside Auer and Roskelley, left a profound void. Tributes poured in from climbers worldwide, highlighting his prodigious talent, humility, and pioneering spirit. National Geographic, which had named him Adventurer of the Year, remembered him as a climber who transitioned seamlessly from competition to elite alpinism. His parents, Claudia and Rinzi, later traveled to Nepal to establish a chorten, a Buddhist memorial, with his ashes, honoring his dual heritage. David's achievements redefined possibilities in modern alpinism. The free ascent of Cerro Torre's Compressor Route, solo first ascents, and high-standard climbs in remote ranges. He inspired a generation to pursue excellence with ethics and joy. For American audiences, his story underscores the universal allure and inherent risks of the mountains, echoing tragedies like those on Denali or in Yosemite while celebrating human potential. Though his life was brief, David packed it with intensity and meaning. He once said success meant living up to his own expectations. In that, he succeeded brilliantly. His legacy endures in the routes he opened, the films he starred in, and the climbers he motivated to dream bigger. In the quiet of the Alps or the roar of a Himalayan storm, the spirit of the young Austrian Nepali climber who reached for the vertical continues to echo.